Hi everyone, this is Sean. Welcome back to my channel. Press the like button, subscribe, share, comment. I'm always looking for the dialogue. I appreciate all of you. Today's video, we're going to be talking about whether or not you, as a private security officer, can you dump out somebody's beer? Can you confiscate someone's alcoholic beverage? Can you confiscate personal property if you believe that that property does not belong to them? Is this something that you're able to do? I know that many of you are wondering, Sean, why are you creating this video? What happened? I had a subscriber that reached out to me that had some concerns on a video that he was watching. So I went through all my videos to all the I went through all the channels who I'm subscribed to, and lo and behold, it's one of my subscribers, one of our subscribers. I'm not going to mention who this person is. This subscriber has been one of my subscribers for a very long time, and you're talking about when I started this channel. So I'm not going to go over here publicly and bash this person. The reason why I'm making this video is because I'm concerned here, and I don't want my subscriber, our community, I don't want them to end up getting in trouble. There's some potential criminal element, if not a civil element, that I see when I watch the video. And again, I'm not doing this out of spite, out of hate. I'm doing this because I care about the security community. I want all of us to learn from my mistakes as well. I don't know everything. I have over 23 years of combined security, private investigations, and law enforcement experience, but I still don't know everything. And I try to share as much as possible with everybody. So if you're watching this video and you feel that we're criticizing you, we're just hammering down on you, I don't want you to feel that way. I want you to again understand that I care about you and the community cares about you. So it's not important who made the video. What's more important are the concepts discussed, because let's face it, guys, you might be watching some of these videos and saying, "Oh, I would never do that. I mean, that's silly. I know better." But lo and behold, some months might pass by and you might make a similar mistake. So let's discuss what is in the video. Well, I don't want to discuss too much what's in the video, because I don't want to go out there and start naming people. And by the way, if this subscriber wants to give more reasoning for his actions, maybe in a post or on this person's own channel, that's up to that person. But let's talk about, in general concepts, can you take an alcoholic beverage from somebody? So most of the time when you are confiscating an alcoholic beverage, it's usually with transients. Transients in a lot of circumstances end up bringing alcohol to the private property. They're belligerent, they're drunk, and then you have to deal with them. And the belief is that if you take away the alcohol, you can somewhat control their behavior. I mean, if they're not, when they stop drinking, they might actually stop thinking a lot better. So with this security officer, who's one of our subscribers, I think that he had all good intentions. You know, he doesn't want this person to get hurt when he leaves the private property. By having this person stop drinking, there's a possibility that the person is going to sober up a little bit more and make more wiseful decisions. So in one of the videos, I don't remember if there was a closed alcoholic beverage or an open one, but anyhow, he takes that beverage, and it didn't look like it was with this transient's permission. He took the beverage from him. The transient actually offered some resistance. He didn't want to give the beverage away, and I do believe that he said, "No, you know what? This beverage is it's closed." Okay, so look, it doesn't matter if it's closed or it's open. You, as a private security officer, you do not have any right confiscating that beverage. Some of you might be inclined to dump out the beverage. Let me ask you this. What gives you the legal right to dump out someone's beverage? When you are dumping out someone's beverage, you are destroying personal property. And I know you might be saying, well, that beer only costs $2 a can. or $4 a can. And that might be true, but it's still personal property from someone else. When you're out there destroying personal property, so you're dumping out the alcohol, you're just treading on the crime of theft. In California, theft is defined as the taking of personal property from the possession of another with intent to permanently deprive that person of that custody of that item. That's California. Other states, as long as you have the intent to temporarily deprive that property from someone, that's considered a theft. Now, California subscribes to the Model Penal Code, and so do most other states. The Model Penal Code is it is what it sounds. It's the Model Penal Code. It's a recommended course of action that these states should take if certain elements of a crime are met, and they also define elements of certain crimes. And theft is one of the most common ones. This theft was a law that was actually enforced by the common law in England. I mean, this is one of the oldest laws that there is. So when you're out there dumping alcohol, okay, if you just dump alcohol in the grass, okay, that substance belongs to that person. When you're doing that, you are permanently depriving that person of the right to that alcoholic beverage. Okay, you're dumping it, you're destroying it. Okay, is a prosecutor going to charge you for theft for doing that? I don't think so. But remember, there's a war against police officers. That war could trickle on to private security, and in California, it has inroads into the private security sector. I've talked about this concept in a lot of other videos. How about collecting the alcoholic beverage from the person when it's closed cap? Well, you're taking that beverage with intent to permanently deprive that person. Are you giving the beverage back to the person? Well, no, you're collecting it. I mean, if you were to give it back, why wouldn't you give it back to this person on the spot? And there's some ways around it. I'm not giving you any legal advice in the video, professional advice, just my personal opinion, but there might be some ways that you can deal with these types of situations without running too much afoul with the law. Whenever you take something, you do run afoul with the law. Now, in this video, there was personal property that was in the possession of a transient. Our security officer confiscated that item. And the argument was, well, that's not your property. This is somebody else's. Now, I don't know the backstory. I don't know if that property belonged to one of the stores where this private security officer was contracted to protect. I don't know that. But guys, you absolutely cannot, I'm going to repeat many times here, you cannot confiscate personal property from somebody else, even if you think that this person stole it from someone else, unless this item belongs to a client whom you are contracted to provide security services for, or unless you have a fresh crime. I mean, you actually know that there's a crime in progress and this person has possession of it. In this video, those facts are totally absent. I don't see that happening. You guys also have to remember that in law enforcement, there's a lot more investigation that goes on with confiscating items. So as a law enforcement officer, you could confiscate these items if you believe that they're stolen. There's a crime called misappropriation of lost property, and basically it's the enemy, so to speak, of finders keepers. Just because you find something, that doesn't mean you get to keep it. You have a legal duty, at least in California, to attempt to locate the owner. Legal duty. Attempt to locate the owner. If you're not able to, then you can keep it. Now, in California, there's a procedure. I think the last time I looked at that section, I think you notify law enforcement, and I believe within 30 days, if nobody claims a property, that property is yours. But law enforcement officers, they ask a lot more questions. You know, where did you get this? How much did you pay? And the telltale sign that it could be stolen property is if an item should be this much and then they only paid this much for it. and then they can't account for who they bought it from. It's Joe from the corner of A and Z. But there's a lot more investigation that comes with it, guys. As a private security officer, I'm going to keep saying this. You have no authority to confiscate. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Sean, where does it say that I don't have authority to confiscate items from these drunks on my property, the transients on my property? Where does it say I can't? I just explained to you the definition of theft. I just can't discuss it. There's not much more to that, guys. That's where it says that you can't confiscate these items. It's theft. You are not a law enforcement officer. You have no legal right at all to just start confiscating items. What if this person brings in an axe? Now, I'm saying that because I was watching Security Guard channel, and he made a post with him, I think, holding an axe. I don't know what the backstory is, so that's why I'm mentioning axe. What do they come in there with, a sword or a huge knife? Can you confiscate these items? So in private security in most states, and correct me if I'm wrong if I am misstating the codes or the authority in your state, but private security officers, there's no officer safety standard. You can't just collect an item, confiscate an item for your safety. There's no laws that I could think of that are written in the books that give private security that privilege. Now, what you could do is you can ask them, say, hey, you know what, can I have... Now, I'm not going to discuss tactics. I'm just discussing theories here. You can ask them, hey, I see that you have this machete here. Can I collect it? Or can I take it? Can I hold on to it for you? If not, then I'm going to be forced to contact the police department. And if you are on parole or probation, this could be a violation of your terms of conditions of parole or probation. The choice is yours. But if you decide to walk around with this axe, this sword, whatever it is, in my store, or this private property that I'm contracted to protect, I'm going to demand that you leave. Somewhere along the lines. Now, obviously, this is not discussing any tactics, any tactical aspects of approaching somebody that has these types of weapons, but I'm just talking to you guys in general terms. Now, I'm going to tell you this straight up. Me personally, if I'm working private security and you come onto my property with an axe, sword, and the scene just looks out of the ordinary, and I feel like you have some evil intentions, I'm going to take that sword, axe, whatever it is, I'm going to take it away from you. And what I'm going to do is, after I take it away from you, I'm going to kick you out of the store, and then I'm going to contact police, and I'm going to say, hey, this guy, having this description, came in the store. He appeared suspicious because XYZ. I was in fear. I was in danger. I was in fear that I was in danger, that this person could use this against myself or other people based on these circumstances. Would you be able to send an officer here to collect this axe, sword, or other weapon? Okay. When I do that, I don't have the intent to permanently deprive that person of custody of the item. Maybe temporary, but not permanently. And also, guys, if you're confiscating items, I mean, you just shouldn't. But if you are, give them some type of receipt, because it tells a prosecutor, it tells law enforcement that you did have the intent of giving this item back to this person. Now, there's officer safety issues when you give somebody back a weapon. I personally would get a backpack or a bag, put this item across the street from my property. When they come back and attempt to retrieve the item in a couple of days, and say, hey, look, your sword, your knife, your axe, whatever it is, it's across the street. You can go ahead and get that. You can go ahead and get it right then and there. Okay? So if you feel the need to do something like this, give them a receipt. Now, in states where it's required in order to meet the elements of theft, the permanent deprivation of property, at least the intent to permanently deprive this person of property, I think a receipt will probably save your butt from going to jail or being prosecuted. If your state's is a temporary deprivation of property, it's really up to you guys. I mean, even if you get somebody a receipt, you're temporarily taking that item from somebody. Technically it's a theft depending on your jurisdiction. You definitely want to consult with an attorney or somebody who's qualified to speak on legal terms, but your hands are more tied in those areas. But again, guys, me personally, I don't care what state I'm in. I see somebody coming in with a weapon, they display suspicious behavior. I don't care what anybody thinks out there. I'm going to take that item, give them an option to come back at a later time, and put this item a distance away from the property so that they can go there and collect that. And that's just to be on the extremely safer side. Okay, I will make it clear, you have no legal right to dump out people's alcohol. You might end up dumping some alcohol that's extremely expensive. Maybe they paid $200 a bottle, $1,000 a bottle, and some of you are probably laughing like, well, they stole it. Well, you're going to have to prove that they stole it, which is kind of hard to do. You need a victim first. But you're going to have that one person that's going to make that claim to a police officer that is going to actually listen to this person. And, you might end up having charges sought against you. Now, I think the chance of a police officer or law enforcement officer arresting you for that type of offense, and you even being prosecuted, I think it's very slim. It's rare. I never heard anything like that before. But you never know, guys. Times are changing. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Do you guys have any questions, concerns? Am I being too tough on the subscriber? Hopefully you learned something new. I'm hoping those of you who have a lot more experience than I do, maybe you can give some suggestions to people who bring alcohol on the property. They consume it. What do you guys normally do? I'll tell you this, that if you're private security guys, stop watching Cops. Just please stop watching Cops. That film or that video series is horrible for tactics, techniques. I see that all the time on Cops. They're dumping the alcohol. What happened is, in the older days, before my times, before I was a law enforcement officer, I began my career as a law enforcement officer in the year 2002. I went to the academy in 2001. Before my time, officers would confiscate alcohol from maybe a juvenile party, maybe a DUI stop. They confiscate it, and then when they get off at 7 a.m. or 10 a.m. or 6 a.m., they go off drinking with their other alcoholic partners. They do this on Friday nights, Saturday nights, sometimes Sunday. Is it against the law? Yes, it is. But that's what law enforcement officers used to do. That's not what I would do, but that was heard of, you guys, during those times. And that information was passed on to me when I started my career. And I was just thinking, wow, you guys did some sketchy stuff. But in those times, it was acceptable. And it just sounds wrong to take someone's alcohol from a party and then drink it later on. But anyhow, that culture introduced itself into private security. Private security believes, hey, police dump out alcohol, police confiscate alcohol, well, so can I. Those of you who are in security studying criminal justice, I think that studying criminal justice sometimes has a negative effect on your performance as a private security officer, because you're thinking law enforcement. However, security is its own beast. So anyhow, I'll stop talking, and I'm looking forward to dialogue. You guys all take care.